taking away the integrity of the game. And it sucks that this is a situation because you look at, we're not going to get into the whole Snyder thing, whatnot, but you look at all the sexual allegations against Daniel Snyder, which in real life are more important. The NFL doesn't see that way, but because their product that they most care about, the integrity, they're going to put this probably at such a higher degree of level that they might actually finally force an owner to sell the team because they can't have a team purposely trying to take a
looking
dive.
crooked.
Or at least be noted. Yes.
Protect the shield, baby. Protect the shield always.
But you got to say though, he's presented no evidence. I would. That's my only caveat with the whole. The accusations. You can make an accusation, but he needs some sort of evidence.
Yeah, proof.
I agree with you because even with the one that seems like it'd be the most incriminating one, which it is the Belichick one. If they have it that their documents, the Daboll didn't sign before that interview, they could say, "Well, we didn't sign Daboll yet," right? Because as long as he signed it after the Flores interview was going to be, then they could say it checks out. I'm saying that it doesn't help Flores is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I was just going to say that I think Belichick's email or text came 2 days or maybe 3 days before Flores was supposed to interview. That's the real catch there. So,
well, the real incriminating thing is he says, I heard from Buffalo and New York. Like, why would Buffalo know that Brian Flores got the job? Right. Like, Brian Daboll is coming from Buffalo. So, but anyway, I was just also going to say his accusations of Elway and Joe Ellis showing up drunk and disheveled hours late for their interview. Again, that might also play into the idea that it's sham. But again, that's to be fair to what I guess Lugs is saying. That one, I'm not even saying that what Brian Flores isn't true, but that's going to be hard to prove because it sounds like the Denver Broncos have said they have a lot of things in terms of paperwork and whatnot that indicates what they were doing, because they said they were just coming from an interview that was late the day before. I'm not saying that's true. I'm not saying that's not a cover up, but I think it's going to be hard to.
Well, we don't know how it's going to wind up, but maybe if he did nothing else, he raised a lot of questions about things that will be looked into, and maybe he fell on the sword to get some progress going in a different direction on many fronts, it sounds like.
But I'll show you this real quick. Lugs is right, because like after that, of the three hires, Lovie Smith is obviously African American, and Mike McDaniels is biracial. Right. So the two out of the three that were there, and then Dennis Allen was the only one that is white. But again, since he was promoted within, they didn't have to really, even though they did interview other candidates, they didn't really need to, I guess, follow the rule as much. I don't know the complete situation on that. So,
well, we'll see what happens with Brian Flores. Okay, a couple others to mention. The Raiders and Josh McDaniels. Okay, guys, after McDaniels left the Colts hanging a few years ago, what do you guys make of this? Do we even care about Josh?
I wish him a lot of luck. He does get a decent quarterback. I don't think that he's a great quarterback, but it's going to be tough. But they've got some hard. They showed up this year even with all the craziness. Derek Carr, considering all the nonsense that was going around with Gruden, and it seems like Carr was always on the hot seat.
Well, Henry Ruggs too. Remember the Henry Ruggs car crash, and he lost that guy, and he's out forever. So tough year. You're right.
So I think he's got some pieces there. And he comes from New England, and he failed once. The second time, I think he'll be smarter. So I think they will be okay with him. I think that if I were a betting man, I'd say that they will go better than 500 this coming season.
I like the hire. I think Josh McDaniels is a good coach. I think obviously Denver, the first situation, he had too much power. Clearly in this one, actually they made a note of it. The GM said when it comes to personnel decisions, he has the final word. to indicate that it is different than his last time with Denver. Because I think there's just too much on his plate for a guy who's his age. And I think he's learned from that, and he's fine with that. And you just look at the success he had with Brady, and I know it's easy to say Brady, but like there was a dip in Brady's play, and I think Josh McDaniels did help bring him back, just kind of like with Rodgers. Rodgers had a dip. It's not to say Josh McDaniels made Brady. That's completely horse crap, but like he rounded him back. He rounded him back into form. And you also look at the work he did with Matt Castle the one year Brady was injured. Matt Castle played well. And also what he did with Mac Jones this year. I mean, Mac Jones looked like a good starting quarterback.
Yep.
So he is a good coach. The thing I worry about that I find odd is he obviously he was bad with Denver, and like that happens. Like, and obviously what he did with the Colts, that probably takes away from his chances opportunity. For you to take the opportunity to go into division with Patrick Mahomes and Justin Herbert and the possibility that Aaron Rodgers, so that's 6 games out of the season.
Good luck.
You're going to be playing those guys. Even if he coaches out of his mind, he's going to be lucky to go 3-3. So that's the only part that I worry about. I think he's one of the, after Daboll, I think he's the best. I think he's the best hire. So.
Okay, apparently
he's flashy enough for
the Tinseltown,
the
limelight
for Vegas,
Vegas
and everything
for Brent Musburger to call his games.
Okay, hey, apparently after the Super Bowl, the Vikings will hire Kevin O'Connell from the Rams. He's a 36-year-old, and Lugs, I'm setting you up. Here's a softball. It's coming over the plate. He's already said he likes Kirk Cousins at the Vikings. What do you say about that?
Well, I wish him good luck with that, my friends.
He's already said it.
Again, he's moving into a place where they've got a lot of pieces. They really do. I mean, I'm just shocked that they didn't do better. But it's a good hire for them. In this modern NFL, you've got to have offensive-minded head coaches. You can't – defense just it's not there. You can't touch the quarterback. I mean, there's so many rules. They just want to get the ball in the end zone, get crowds cheering, and that sort of stuff. So with the pieces he has there, they actually have a chance at taking the North. As Chicago Bears, I don't know about, but Vikings do have a shot.
I will give him this. Obviously, he's well respected, but again, kind of like Mike McDaniels, where I trust the people in the league. Again, he's the OC for the Rams, but obviously Sean McVay calls it, so it's a guy who helps set up the game plan, and maybe at times, maybe in the preseason, has called games, but in an actual situation hasn't called games. So he's elevating essentially 2 levels that he hasn't done.
Money games, he's not calling it, you're saying.
Yeah. So, and again, the one thing that does help him is Kirk Cousins. I know Lugs doesn't agree with this. He is a talented quarterback. He has worked with him before when he was in Washington. He worked with him in Washington. And the other thing that might help Kirk Cousins is the offense is very similar to what was already there. The thing that might help Kirk Cousins anymore is they will throw the ball more because he's coming from McVay's offense. So they'll run, instead of 2 receiver sets, a lot of times they'll run 11 personnel. So they have 3 receivers out there. So,
all right.
I thought it was, I'll just say, I think it was a good hire. But again, like a lot of these coaches feel like crazy projections. They could have huge rewards, but there is still a lot of risk.
I think we hit them all. Okay, we've got a few other things to talk about. But first, how about we do this? Lugs, you ready? Here we go.
Oh, man. All right.
It's Sports of Yesteryear. It's our man Lugs out in the field somewhere to tell us what's happening from days gone by.
Right.
Take it away. Go, go, go.
1936 NFL Draft, the first ever. Jay Berwanger from the University of Chicago, first pick by the Philadelphia Eagles. 1945, Paul Brown agrees to coach the new expansion team in Cleveland. The team would be named the Cleveland Browns after their coach. 1960, Boston Celtic Bill Russell sets an NBA record with 49 rebounds in a single game. 1975, Pistol Pete Maravich scores 47 points as New Orleans Jazz end a 28-game NBA road losing streak.
Whoa.
1989, American jockey Chris Antley begins record 64-day consecutive win streak. It ends on May 1st. During that time, he was on 147 winners out of a total of 486 mounts. And finally, on a slightly sports-related note, in 1994, actor Jack Nicholson uses a golf club to attack a car. I don't know if he, I don't know if it was par or an eagle, but he whacked a car with a golf club.
Wait, Jack Parr for a par? Is that what you said?
Jack Nicholson.
Oh, Jack Nicholson. All right. Well,
yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for that little sports of yesteryear. He whacked a golf club. Anyway, hey guys, got a little bit of information from us here. We got some emails from some fans here. This one from Fisby 520 West, entitled Road Trip Excellence. Could not have made the 15-hour road trip from Florida to Kentucky without this. Wow, boom, bang is all I can say. This sports podcast is crazy good. Hey, they're a friend of the show. We love that. This one from Heather's fan. Glad I found it. Spectacular sound effects. Well, how about that? And a great perspective. So there you go, folks. Guys, we got a little love in the audience. Subscribe to Sports and Other Stuff. Just let us know what you think. Okay. Hey, we wanted to talk about a couple of other things, including Tom Brady retired. Give that 30 seconds, will you?
Well,
I retired.
Think he got out when the getting was good. He did everything that he could do. I mean, what more could he do except get beat up and look like Joe Montana at the end? I mean, just get out and, hey, enjoy the retirement. It was fun to watch a lot of, that statuesque sort of throwing there. So thank you, Tom, for all the memories.
Thanks for the memories. T-Dog, you think he's going to retire, or is he just thinking about it?
Well, he brought up on his podcast Monday that you never say never. So he might come back. And look, he can play till 50. He joked about it, I think, earlier in the season. He might come back. He's stayed in good enough shape. I mean, think about it. He's also, besides Aaron Rodgers, definitely an MVP candidate for the year 44 to retire as almost an MVP candidate. It's a big props to him. And actually, weirdly enough, even though he's the greatest quarterback of his era, and if you want to say all time, I'm not going to fight you on it. His biggest legacy might have been just how durable and how well he played, and he never really fell off, which is, like I said, a tribute to TB12 and obviously the way he
took care of himself.
He exercised it. He took care of himself. And that's like we kind of really focused on it his thing. The biggest compliment I can make to him, but just as a person consuming football, I don't know if anyone will have as many Super Bowls as him, but also if you think about it, what's the worst Super Bowl he was in? It was probably that Rams-Patriots game. That was still an entertaining game. I know it was a low-scoring game. All 10 of them were enjoyable in different ways. So that's the biggest compliment I can make to him. It's a consumer sport. We consumed all 10 of those ones. I could watch all 10 of those Super Bowls again. There's not a dud in there. So congrats to Tom Brady, greatest of his era. So.
You go, TB12. Okay, let's end with this. What do you think of the Washington Commanders? Commanders. What do you think of the Washington Commanders?
I would like Commandos better, actually.
See, that was a slip.
But Commanders, I don't know. It's sort of generic, honestly, for me. Their logo, I just don't, it has no pizzazz. So I just wonder about, but at least they got that monkey off their back with the use.
2.5 years and several $1 million probably to do that.
Oh, I'm sure. The consultants got paid well to come up with Commanders.
I'm going to paraphrase. I think the person who said it best was NBC Sports Edge's Rotopat. He said, it looks like the team that won the XFL and USFL championship combined that year. So that's the best I could say about that design. It's very generic. It feels like an arena team somehow, like if it was like a premiership where they have regulated teams that can be elevated. It feels like a regulated team that's been elevated to the NFL level.